Hello everyone. So I was going to paint some a Christmas plate today, and I thought I'd share it with you. I haven't done a painting video in a while, and of course I use the Amaco Velvet Underglazes, which I really prefer. I've used others, and they seem to have some flux in them, and they can stick to the bottom of the kiln shelf, and I've had pieces stick together. Because when I make my red birds, I used to stack them all up together, if you've seen the video of my red birds. And I haven't had that problem with the Amaco Velvet Underglazes. So as of right now, those are my favorite, because I like to paint on the bottom of my plates. So this is the plate I'm painting today. Now this is on white. This is on the B-Mix 5 with Grog. And it you know, it's got a little bit of a yellow tint to it. And then here is the white. This is ultra white velvet underglaze on here. This is the Stainer 266 clay. And then I've got paint on the back of that also. You can see, I don't know if you can really tell, the red berries didn't really burn out on that, but the red berries did burn out on here, which I kind of like though. I actually like the way it looks. But, so yeah, so this is what I'm actually going to paint today though, but hopefully it'll turn out with the red berries, because I'm painting red berries on it. So I will set them aside. And here's the piece I'm going to paint on. Let's lower you down so you can see. Hope everyone had a nice Thanksgiving. Those who celebrate. So I'm going to rinse this off first. I'm going to just take my sponge and wipe it down good so there's no dust on it. And my stuff comes out of the kiln kind of dusty, but then, you know, when I'm making like my owls or my fish, I stuff it with newspaper, so that always creates a dust in the kiln. So I got a couple marks on here, so what I'm going to do is wet this so it's wet, doesn't create dust. And I'm just going to sand it down a little bit. And these are just Kemper. I love these. They're just Kemper small little sanding stones. They're not, I think they're only like $3 or something like that. And they work really nice. But like I said, you always want to wet your stone or wet your piece so that you don't have that clay dust. So I think I'm gonna sand it down just a little more. I probably, when I turn this plate over to dry, you know, I put it on a wire rack, and unfortunately it's nice to put them on a wire rack, because then you have the airflow from the bottom and the top, which creates a much more even drying environment than laying them on a solid surface, but I think that's good. Okay. All right, so let's paint. So first thing I'm going to do, and this is my, this is how I put my underglazes when I get them. I have a tray here, just a bead tray that is solid in the bottom. I had done a video a while back about, I couldn't find the ones that were solid underneath, or sealed underneath. So I ran a bead of glue along the bottom and put the dividers back in. But then someone said they found these on Amazon, and sure enough, when I looked on Amazon, I found them, they were already sealed. So that saves a lot of time. And they do dry out a little bit, which is actually a good thing because I fire to cone 5, and underglazes, like you can fire them to cone 10, but the higher you fire them, the more they'll burn out. So, so it's best to put them on as concentrated as possible. So, okay, so I'm going to put a layer, because this is dark clay, I don't want to paint right on the clay. The colors just aren't quite as bright. So yeah, we had Thanksgiving here a couple days ago in the U.S. and it's always nice. It's nice to get together with family, and I have 4 brothers, and I only get to see one of them on Thanksgiving, but he has kids and grandchildren, and I get to see all of them. And I was able to pick up my mom from the nursing home so she could be there, which was really nice. She doesn't really remember being there, but you know, she has a good time while she's there, and that's all that's really important, right? I think it does help her seeing the family members, helps her, you know, remember a little bit. She has dementia, as I've mentioned before, but yeah, we had a nice time. And I always feel bad for those people who, you know, don't have family or can't get together with their family on Thanksgiving. And I know a lot of people who are going through some very sad experiences in life. That's always, you know, I always feel terrible for them. I know I have some friends who lost the child, and one lost the mother, and that makes the holidays hard. Okay, so I think I have it. I'm gonna clean up, or I'm gonna get it on these edges a little bit. I'm gonna make it a little bit neater around the edge here. But this dries really fast. I went to our local clay supplier last week, hoping to buy about 10 boxes of this, and they were out of it. They had no boxes at all of the dark 266. So I got some Kentucky brown bear. So I'm going to be trying that maybe today. Although I've got some white open. I don't like to buy a whole bunch of clay at one time because I don't go through it fast enough. And I don't like it when it gets hard. That's a pain in the butt to try and soften up your clay. And if I lived far away from the clay supplier, I would definitely buy a lot at one time, but I literally live about 25 minutes away, so it's one of my favorite places to go. Oh my gosh, I just love, I don't know why. Well, I know why, because I love all the stuff they have, but I'd love to go out to my clay supplier, Queen City Clay and Core Clay, because they got all the fun stuff out there. Okay, so let's see here. gonna look like. And so the first thing I'm gonna do, this is really a really simple pattern. This is a it's a number 8 brush. I don't know what kind it is though. I usually get my brushes at Hobby Lobby, or yeah, pretty much Hobby Lobby, or they're not an expensive brush or anything. And then this is just an Amaco Velvet Brown. And let's see, I might have to water it down a little bit. This is an old tray from, we got food in it. These are perfect for mixing glazes, and there's an old, I don't know what that is in there. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to put a little bit in here and add just a touch of water. There we go. And whenever I don't use, I'll just put back in there. I just got some in my purple. That doesn't really matter though. I just stir it up. Right. There we go. Okay, so okay, so I got my brown, and I just add a little bit of water. I'm just gonna kind of go around, and this is, I don't know, kind of like a grapevine wreath. That's what I kind of always think about when I'm painting it. And the browns will burn out too, but not too much. I don't have too much problem with them. But you want to be very loose with this. Don't try to be too perfect. Otherwise, that's how it'll look. It looks pretty good. I'm going to do one more bigger one with a little bit of water. Like I said, some of these will burn out. I'm going to and I'm going to be adding the green over the top, so it's, you know, doesn't really matter. Okay, I think that looks good. Got a lot of brown there, don't I? Okay, so I'm going to rinse my brush out. And this one here is kind of wet, so I'm going to help it dry a little bit. There we go. Okay, so the green I use is Amaco Velvet Avocado. It is my favorite green. I don't know if I have. I think I'm out of it. When I went to my local clay supplier, like I was saying the other day, they're out of almost all the underglazes. They're out of almost even regular glazes. They're out of so much. So okay, so I'm going to kind of find like the end of branches. Like this will definitely be an evergreen, but then I'll try to find some natural places to put the evergreen leaves around here. And these want to be kind of loose too. And I start at the back. And you know what? I think what I'm going to do is take some of this avocado green, put a dollop of that in there, wipe my paint stir off. I'm going to put a dollop of yellow. This isn't their bright yellow. This is it's just a soft yellow. And let's see, and I think I'm actually going to add touch of blue. Not very much. And I don't think I'm going to add any white because that would blend in with the background here. Maybe add just a little more green. I want to make sure I have enough to go around. There we go. Okay. So now that I've got all these colors in here, you can kind of see they're all, I don't want to spill the brown, but I'm not going to stir them up too much. Just a little bit. I don't want too much of the blue coming through, but there, can you see that? See, so there's some blues and yellows and the green in there. So that's what I make my evergreen with, and that'll look more natural because again, you have all those colors in there. And I'm going to have to come back and go over each one again because it goes on. The first coat's kind of transparent. I hope you can see the colors in there. And the drier your paints are, the less transparent they will come on. So this one, I'm going to start from the bottom. I should bring it in a little bit, shouldn't I? So you can see a little better. Let me zoom in on this. There you go. You can see a little bit better. Okay. So got these two. I'm starting at the base where I want my evergreen. And I'm kind of pressing harder where the stem is, so it's wider. And then as I release the pressure, it gets thinner at the end. Like I said, I'm going to have to go over each one of these again because I don't know if some of these companies aren't putting as much stain or tint or pigment in their underglazes, but it seems like the tint is not as strong as it used to be. So that's why it does help when you're painting designs on, especially if you're gonna fire to cone 5 or 6 or higher, that you let them dry out a little bit so you have a more a higher concentration of pigment. Okay, so let's see, I think I'm going to put one over here. And this is just, you know, really kind of free-flowing. I always feel like Bob Ross when I say that. Oh, I used to love to watch Bob Ross paint. I think he's still on the public broadcasting channels. Okay, so then kind of sit back and look at where you've got holes, and so where you need another branch. Did everybody go out shopping on Black Friday? That was yesterday. I'm not a big shopper. I didn't go anywhere. Stayed home. We put our Christmas tree up and cleaned the house a little bit. And today is Small Business Saturday. I was kind of hoping to be in some more shows this year, but I don't know, it just didn't work out. Some of the shows I was going to get in, their booth spaces are like 8 feet, and my display is 10 feet. And it just, 8 feet just seems so small, especially for the amount of money they want. So, let's see here. I'm going to put another one over here. I am going to open my Etsy shop back up. I know I keep saying that. I'm so bad about it. It's all the taking of the pictures. Although my son bought me a light box. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those. I'll have to show you before I end the video or do a video on it. He bought me this light box, and it does make it so much easier to take video or pictures of your stuff because it's all lit up and you don't have to worry about whether the sun's out or getting a glare. But all my stuff is outside in my horse trailer that I renovated into a pottery trailer. So then I have to carry it all back in here too, which is a lot of trekking back and forth. I really do have a lot of stuff. I did have a sale at my house a few weeks ago, and that went really well. There we go. And sometimes you just gotta stop and kind of hold it back and look at it. Sometimes you can get too close and you lose perspective of where you might need a branch. Like I said, these are really easy to paint. You really can't make a mistake, you know. Let's see here. And if you do, you could always just wipe it off, right? Although, you know, with underglazes, you can just go right over the top. Let's see. So, what do you think? No, I got you too close, probably. Let's see. Move it back just a little bit. There we go. There we go. So that's looks pretty even. So, okay, so I'm going to go over it another time, I can't talk. I'm going to go over it again with the green. Now that I got the first coat on, and it's really important that when you're going over it, that it's dry, the first coat's dry, because otherwise you're just smearing the first coat and you're really not putting on a second coat. And that's true with regular glazes too. Got an itch. I guess it's dry skin in the winter, gosh. Yeah, it's one thing I always tell my students. make sure your first coat is dry before you put the second or the third on, because also you can tell when people don't do that because you see uneven application marks. You'll see dark spots and light spots, and of course that can also be from not stirring the glazes well enough, which is sometimes hard to do, especially when you're using studio glazes that have been sitting, like our studio glazes. You know, we haven't had, well, we've had some classes. A lot of people are starting to come back, but you know, a lot of them sat for a year and a half before we had classes again. And oh my gosh, a lot of them are just hard as a rock. And then what we usually do is just add a little gum solution to them, and that brings them back, makes them more brushable. And you can use gum solution in any glaze. Amaco makes it. You can even put a little in underglazes if you want, although you really shouldn't have any problems with the brushability of an underglaze, unless you let it dry out completely, you know, and hard as a rock, and you're trying to bring it back a little bit. The thing with gum solution is it doesn't last forever, and I don't want to sound like I know the chemistry of it completely, but I was watching a video from Kara from Amaco. I think she's from Amaco. That it doesn't last, so it must break down after a while, and you may have to re-add it. And I'm not sure, you know, if it's something you want to keep adding, if it would change the chemistry of your glaze after a while. But so I suggest, you know, don't add it to anything larger than a pint. You definitely don't want to add it to, you know, a 5-gallon bucket of dipping glaze or anything like that. But if you make a dipping glaze, all powdered glazes are basically dipping glazes. If you buy it in a powder form, it's a dipping glaze. If you buy it in a liquid form, chances are it is a brushing glaze. So if you buy a dipping glaze, a big, you know, sometimes I'll buy 5 or 10 pound package of, oh, my heater turned on. If I buy a 5 or 10 pound bag of dry glaze, then it's a dipping glaze. But I also like to brush it on sometimes, so what I'll do is pour some in a pint, and then I'll add a little bit of Amaco gum solution. There we go. And then it turns into a brushing glaze. Here is, let's see. Here we go. Here's Amaco's gum solution. This stuff is really, really nice. I only have a little bit left. But they were out of that too. It's only, this one was only $6.40 for the whole jar. But yeah, so that's nice to put into glazes. So, okay, so there it is so far. And so this will get really dark. This will get dark just like this. So when this is fired, it'll be the same color as this is. This is the 266. So this will look, a lot of people like to see the finished product, but I don't have another one of these, so to show, and I was going to post the video before I fire this. I sold my older kiln and bought a newer used kiln, so I have to hook that up today and do a test fire. But this will turn out just like this, only hopefully my berries will be red. So let's put the red berries on here. So I have this red here is a, again, it's an Amaco velvet, but it is a bright red. This is their bright red. And I'm going to pull a little out here because I want to add just a touch of this orangey, kind of a more orange red. And this is one that I just mixed up. I just added their bright orange and some red to make this darker orange. Or when I was doing pumpkins, I made up 3 different colors of orange, so that's what that's kind of from. So let's see. I want to put a little bit of white in here. I think I'm going to add the orange might burn out more than the red, so I'm going to go back and add a little more of the bright red, because the bright red doesn't burn out very much at all. I think there's more pigment in that than, there we go. I just don't want a solid red. Okay, so here we go. So I usually put 3. Sometimes I put 2. And I think I am going to go back with a little. After I put 2 coats of this red, I'm definitely putting 2 coats of the red on here. Maybe 3. I think what happens is, you know, it gets hotter. Although this did not burn out underneath. But I think the dark clay gets maybe a little hotter. And that's why it tends to burn out a little more. But the white really helps the colors pop. My Etsy shop is, I think you just got to type in Wild Acorns Pottery and you should find it. So I noticed that if you look at this, see over here, there's not really a place to put the red berries. I think I'm just going to put them on the brown. I was going to add another leaf, but I don't think I'm going to do that, because the leaf could have died and fell off, right? Okay, so I'm going to go back now and just add another color, another layer of the red in this kind of orangey red. To all the berries so that they do not burn out. I'm also going to do another video later today on mold making. I watched a video from, gosh, now I'm going to forget her name. Tania something. She's on Instagram. Look her up. She makes beautiful, beautiful things. But I saw a video she did about this rubber stuff, like it's almost like Play-Doh, and you can make these really simple molds for things, for pottery. So okay, so now I'm going to rinse my brush out. I'm just going to get a little bit of white here. I don't want too much, but I want to add just a little bit of white. There you go. Just to add kind of another dimension so the berries don't look flat. I'll put it up to the screen when I get done. So when this is dry, well, I'm going to outline it with Amaco's Black Velvet Underliner. Actually, I think what I have is the Jet Black. There we go. Okay. Oh, and I almost forgot. I forgot the bottom. I always like to put something on the bottom to kind of surprise people when they turn it over. And this doesn't really burn out too much on the bottom because it's flat against the shelf, and the shelf kind of protects it from getting too hot and burning out. So I'm just kind of mixing together a little more green and blue. It says these brushes are number 8, but it doesn't have a name on them, so I can't remember where I got them, but it was most likely Hobby Lobby. That's where I usually shop for my stuff. Well, for brushes and things. I think that's pretty good. Alright, let's put a little berry here. And put another berry here. There we go. I think I'm going to add a little okay. So I'll wait till that, oh, am I off the screen? And here's how that looks. Let me put that aside. There you go. I think you can see that now. So now I'm going to put the black liner on it. So you can kind of see the berries. The black liner really makes it pop. It does look pretty. Oh, I just put my finger in the berry on the bottom. Silly Lisa, silly, silly, silly. Or clumsy, that's what I should say, right? Clumsy, clumsy, clumsy. There we go. I can fix it though. It'll be all right. There we go. That's good. That'll work. I have to remember not to touch it. Don't touch it. How long is my video getting? I gotta be careful. Last time I was making the red birds, the video cut me off. Well, I guess YouTube cut me off. I guess you can't make a video over 60 minutes. So, okay, so I always use this Xiem Xiem with the number 20 tip. It's the yellow one. You can just buy them in a whole pack. I use that. That's my favorite thing to use. I've bought a zillion different kinds, and so far, I'm going to lay this here so that the bottom doesn't touch. And it's not quite dry yet. I'm going to try and go ahead and do it for the sake of the video. I need one of those blow dryers. Man, that's not going to do much good, Lisa. Okay, so I leave my underglaze in this all the time. I just I store it, you know, upside down so that the tip does not dry out. That is really, really important. If you get this stuff dried in the tip, it is really hard to clean. So, okay, so I'm going to start with the evergreens. Make sure my underglaze is coming out good. And you don't want to try to outline them too much, but you want to highlight, I guess, the strands of leaves. It just kind of makes them pop a little bit. Bring it a little closer here. So you can kind of see. It's hard to keep my hand out of the way. You always want to pull the applicator towards you, but I guess basically away from the tip. If you're going this way towards the opening of the tip, it's going to clog really fast with underglaze. It's really a pain to constantly be cleaning it out. But these are really easy because they're straight. It's a really simple. Let's start. Feels like it's trying to clog up. No, no, no. So you can see the difference of one that's got the liner on it, one that doesn't. We've only got a couple more to go. So this will get a zinc-free clear glaze on it, and then I will fire it to a cone 5. See, it's trying to clog up. Zinc-freeClear cone 5, and it'll look, you know, exactly like this, pretty much. You might have a few, you know, some of the different colors I've got mixed in here. Some of them might burn out a little bit, but I just keep wiping the tip off on the towel when it gets kind of gooky. And when it clogs, you just got to put the pin back in. Get that cleaned out again. Because the berries are a little bit harder because you get to go around the sides. Don't want to mess up the back. Put my fat finger in there again. I think it's dry now though. Boy, these glazes stink so bad. Some of these, you open them up, they smell like the sewer, don't they? Whew, the reds and the oranges. So I'm just gonna go over the brown a little bit. I don't want to try and draw them exact because, you know, it doesn't look good. You just want to give a hint of where those brown branches are going to go. There we go. Okay, you can kind of see that now. So let's do the back and then we'll be done. I'm doing this on a Saturday. Had to think about it for a minute. So it's kind of quiet outside. I guess it's a lot of people are out shopping. There we go. So that's the bottom. I think my name's on here somewhere. No, I don't think I do have my name on this one. Huh, I'll have to sign my name. There we go. There's the bottom. Let's maybe back here a little bit and up. There we go. I really need a better stand, don't I? This thing. I'm old school. See, like I put it in place, it doesn't stay in place. so hang on, you get a bumpy ride. There we go. Okay, you can see my back patio, and can you see this? There's like the kind of like an aqua blue solar lanterns. I love this thing. I bought those at Meijer. They didn't work very long. I love that color. Just reminds me of, I don't know, tropical beaches. All right, so that's that, and that's how it'll turn out. It'll get just a clear on it, and it'll look just like that. As long as the kiln gods are good to me. There we go. Thanks for watching. You guys have been so great. All your comments have been great. I really appreciate it. I think I'm up to like a little over 1,400 subscribers now, which is so exciting. I know some people have like, you know, 1 million. But I'm just happy, you know, with what I have. So anyway, well, I was going to say happy holidays, but it's Thanksgiving just got over, and I guess we'll be getting ready for Christmas now for those who celebrate Christmas. If you don't, that's okay too. But hopefully you'll have fun during the holidays. You don't go too crazy shopping. But anyway, if you see anything you like, I do promise I'm going to open up my Etsy shop and put some of this stuff on there. Because I have fun new things coming in January. I want to make some different things, so stay tuned. All right, have a great day. Thanks. Let's put it up here.